Michael Cohen suffering under a blistering cross-examination today. And oh boy, did he fall apart.
But there is, I think, a fundamental question about Michael Cohen as a witness.
Michael Cohen admit that he agrees it's unethical for an attorney to record their client.
I don't think I've ever seen a star cooperating witness get his knees chopped out quite as clearly and dramatically as what just happened with Michael Cohen.
As Johnny Cochran said, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Hey fam, welcome and welcome back to One and Done. Well, this looks like another case that's falling over. I guess this is what happens when you build a case on an ex-porn star and a convicted liar. Michael Cohen may have just nuked this whole case, and Joe Biden and the deep state must be absolutely fuming. Now, even the left liberal media have to abandon this idea of Michael Cohen being a saint. The case is crumbling before their very eyes. So much to get into in this video. Now, if you want to help a brother out, help me get to that 1,000 sub club. Don't forget to hit the like, smash the subscribe, ring the notification bell, and let's roll that tape.
It's day 18 in the trial for a crime that Democrats still haven't named. Michael Cohen suffering under a blistering cross-examination today. And oh boy, did he fall apart. The prosecution's entire case rested on one phone call that Michael Cohen says took place. Cohen testified that he called Trump's head of security and told him that the Stormy payment was taken care of. That was the big link between Trump and the money. Today it came out the call never happened. Trump's defense lawyers showed Cohen a sheet of text messages on the night he claims he made that call. Turns out Cohen had been getting prank calls from a 14-year-old and called Trump's security chief to ask if he could sic the Secret Service on him. Trump's defense attorney raising his voice, zeroing in on Cohen. That was a lie. You did not talk to President Trump. Cohen panicked, shifted in his seat, voice cracking. I'm not certain that's accurate. But the call logs don't lie. It was a Perry Mason moment. Sources inside the courtroom tell us the entire jury's jaw hit the floor. And never Trump or George Conway put his hands to his face and stared at the ceiling.
Well, fat Alvin Bragg, he must be ordering copium by the kilo. New York's going to be sold out of mops with all these salty tears flowing all over the place. This is hilarious. They built their case on this convicted liar. This case that we still don't know what the actual crime is. Think about it. Their two star witnesses were a ex-porn star and a convicted liar. You can't make this stuff up, folks. You're going to take the 45th president, the first one in history to go through a criminal trial, when these two are your star witnesses, and you don't even have a crime? This is Mickey Mouse world. This is clown world. And early on, the left liberal media were maxing out on copium.
I mean, I didn't get the overall feeling that Michael was flummoxed and that he had been shown to have lied. He may have been shown to have forgotten a particular aspect of something that happened that day and may or may not have been a part of that phone call. But to say that it was, this devastating lie that was shown, they didn't get there, and they needed to.
And
I was in the courtroom when I saw it.
Yeah. Go ahead. This may be the difference between George as a civil lawyer and me as a criminal lawyer, because ultimately this is about reasonable doubt. And by showing this is something that raises reasonable doubt. And the moment that you start saying, well, it's possible that it could have been the way that he said it, it's possible that that's reasonable doubt.
That's right. To get a conviction, they all have to vote unanimously to convict Donald Trump. Now, if there's a reasonable doubt, you only need one or two of the jurors to have some doubt for this whole case to fall over. Now, Judge Merchant should actually just acquit it, but he isn't going to do that, is he? We know he's bought and paid for. We know his daughter raises funds for the Democrat Party. She's raised millions and she's making hundreds of thousands. And Judge Merchant also is a donor. No matter how hard they try, they keep getting found out in the end.
CNN couldn't believe it.
Michael Cohen was cornered in what appeared to be a lie.
I don't think I've ever seen a star cooperating witness get his knees chopped out quite as clearly and dramatically as what just happened with Michael Cohen.
This does seem pretty bad, though.
This does seem, I feel like there are a lot of questions that have been raised.
I think if I was a juror in this case watching that, I would think this guy's making this up as he's going along.
Donald Trump called it fascinating.
I think it was a very interesting day. It was a fascinating day. And it shows what a scam this whole thing is. I'm spending a lot of time and I'm spending a lot of money, which is what they want. They want me to spend my time and my money. And I'm willing to do it because ultimately we have to fight for the Constitution.
And he's absolutely right. They want him to spend his money. They tried to bankrupt him with Litigious James. Tried to get him to pay almost $500 million for overvaluing his property. Who doesn't do that? Everybody does that. And then you come to an agreement on a price. That's the way it works. Sam Bankman-Fried only had to pay $250 million bond. But every time they try Donald Trump, they get found out because the characters that are around them, these cases, these prosecutors, these DAs, they're all corrupt. Their plan is working, I guess, in some aspects because they've got him locked up, figuratively, in this courtroom for weeks at a time, and he can't campaign. And then we saw what happened, didn't we? He had 100,000 people at a rally in New Jersey, of all places. Meanwhile, Joe Biden can't even get 100 people there. Now, Trump loves crowds. Crowds love Trump. And that's part of the reason why Joe Biden doesn't want any crowds, any audience at their debate.
The entire testimony was a disaster. Trump's lawyer played for the jury. Michael Cohen sounding like a lunatic on his podcasts. A very different Michael Cohen from what the jury had seen inside of court.
I truly hope that this man ends up in prison. It won't bring back the year that I lost or the damage done to my family, but revenge is a dish best served cold. And you better believe I want this man to go down and rot inside for what he did to me and my family. He is about to get a taste of what I went through, and I promise you, it's not fun.
Jurors peered up at Cohen while the tape played. They were embarrassed for him. Cohen looked down at the ground, also embarrassed. Imagine being a juror, listening, and realize you just spent your whole month away from work, away from your family, to listen to a case in which the star witness is exposed as a fanatic seeking revenge on the defendant. The defense caught Cohen in lie after lie. At one point, the lawyer says, "Did you ever ask for a pardon?" Cohen says no. Then the lawyer pulled out a deposition where Cohen asked for a pardon. The whole courtroom just shakes their head.
Yeah, it's just lie after lie, isn't it? But why didn't they? They should have known this from the beginning. And look at him. The guy's been on TikTok. I think he's made $3.5 million off a book he wrote about Donald Trump, bagging Donald Trump. No doubt all the TDS people out there would have bought that book. He's making TikTok videos, selling T-shirts, any merch he can get. He's trying to capitalize on this because he can no longer practice law. He's been disbarred or his license has been revoked. I must admit, CNN has caught me by surprise with this based perspective.
But there is, I think, a fundamental question about Michael Cohen as a witness, which is the jury going to listen to him and the cross and the history of lying and say, the hell with this guy? I mean, just write him off. Or are they going to say, look, he's had this traumatic experience. He went to prison because he thought he was helping Donald Trump. Let's parse each statement and see whether those statements are corroborated. And this is really, I think, the prosecution's great hope. And this is why they examined him the way they did on direct, which was scaffolding his testimony with text messages, phone records. Now, the big problem with today is those text messages came back to bite him, at least in this one exchange. But it is also worth mentioning that, he had years of contact with Donald Trump. It's not in debate that whether he could, whether he was in touch with him. Right. If he's mistaken about this one phone call, one prosecution response is, so what?
Unfortunately, so what is not going to fly. He had built everything around this particular phone call. Now, it's one thing to be lying in the past, and it's another thing being caught in a lie right now in the court. That's a big moment, and that's going to be remembered. That's going to stay and stick with him. Now, here's one person that I've never heard a based comment from.
But it's not just this one phone call. And one, you also have to remember there are two attorneys on this jury who were listening to Michael Cohen admit that he agrees it's unethical for an attorney to record their client. They're listening to that. Todd Blanche is trying to catch him in other inconsistencies. He seems like he's about to catch him in another lie on Monday. This is something I'm watching because he asked him about recording conversations with reporters, which Michael Cohen said he did pretty often. But he said he stopped after the 2016 campaign. And then Todd Blanche pressed him on that. And he said, I would have to check. And Todd Blanche responded with this knowing tone, well, we'll check together in a minute. So it seems like he's just catching up to that. Maybe it doesn't change the actual documents, but it could really undermine the credibility.
How can you ever trust this guy again? How has this recording, how were they able to submit this in court, submit it as evidence? This is what I don't understand.
The defense painted a picture of a jilted lawyer who'd been passed over for White House chief of staff and who even had a hard time getting tickets to the inauguration. Cohen was suicidal and was forced to admit under oath that he had a vendetta against Trump. If you're a juror and you hear the star witness say that, not good. Michael Cohen's former lawyer told Fox this morning that Cohen said he never had anything on Trump, which would make sense because if Cohen did have dirt on Donald, he would have handed it to the feds on a silver platter to stay out of prison.
Besides making that statement, I swear to God, I don't have anything on Donald Trump, he also said more times than that answer, guys, I want you to understand, I will do whatever the F I have to do. I will never spend a day in jail. And then he'd slam his hand on the conference room table. And what does that mean to you? That means this guy is saying, I will lie, cheat, steal, do whatever I have to do. I'm not going to jail.
Yep, he's a man scorned for sure. He thought he was going to have a nice, cushy job in the White House. He couldn't quite get into that inner circle, and that left him all cut up to pieces. Now, he obviously didn't want to go to jail. That's why he was, I guess, suicidal. Now, once again, we've got his attorney coming out, giving his account of Michael Cohen. Once again, where's the attorney-client privilege?
It is an extraordinary thing in my experience for a cooperating witness to take the stand and admit under oath at a trial that they pleaded guilty to something that they didn't commit. In other words, perjuring themselves at the time of the plea allocution. Now, look, I know there's all kinds of stuff here about replaying the how many times can he be untruthful and how many times is he untruthful under oath. But I have to tell you, I mean, at least as I learned being a prosecutor, if you have a cooperating witness that can't tell the truth at a plea allocution, that means that that witness is basically worthless.
He testified he lied to the judge in this prior case. And
denying that his plea was voluntary.
And then when Todd Blanche asked him, well, what do you think the judge would have thought of you? Don't you think the judge would like to have known you were lying? I mean, don't you think that would have impacted his decision?
And it would have.
And Michael Cohen was like, I don't know.
No, he said the judge was in on it.
Yeah, oh
he
God.
said the assistant U.S. attorneys and the judge
nuts.
was in on it.
I mean, that's why. And then Todd Blanche's cross-examination. So basically, whenever you get into a problem, it's always blame somebody else. Blame President Trump. Blame the judge. Blame the Justice Department. Blame the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York. Blame Congress. I mean, how many places do you have to go where this guy has lied many times under oath, and it's always somebody else's fault? It's not his fault. I mean, I got to tell you, in summation, that's pretty powerful evidence to a jury to say you shouldn't believe anything this guy says. And if you have to rely on his testimony in any fashion whatsoever in order to convict Donald Trump, i.e., in order to fix Donald Trump's intent, you have a reasonable doubt. You can't have anything else but a reasonable doubt.
Speaking of reasonable doubt, I still can't believe that that's CNN. They've done a 180. Yesterday, Michael Cohen was a saint. Today, he's the most untrustworthy person on the planet.
As Johnny Cochran said, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit. And nothing here seems to fit. Bragg's whole case is hanging on a liar, a phone call that never happened, and a crime that no one can name. Bragg hasn't offered any proof that this payment was a campaign finance violation, that Trump knew or believed it was a campaign finance violation, and that he willfully falsified business records to cover it up. How do you cover up a crime that doesn't exist?
So let's wrap this up, folks. So Fat Alvin brought this case to stop Donald Trump in his tracks, to stop him from campaigning. Now, out of the 4 cases that they had against Donald Trump, everybody knew that this one was the weakest. So why did they bring it? Well, number one, like I said, I think they brought it to slow him down, to take him off the campaign trail, to tarnish his reputation and call him a criminal. They've put their puppet in there, Judge Merchant, to oversee all the shenanigans. It's in New York, one of the bluest states in the country, and somehow they've manipulated a misdemeanor into a a crime, a felony. Now, I had a question. Why did Joe Biden, why did he accept the challenge of having a debate, having 2 debates? Does he know something we don't? Does he know that there's going to be a conviction so he won't have to go through with the debate? So that's the second case scenario I was thinking of. Maybe this is a done deal. Maybe they are going to convict him. Will he get jail time? I doubt it, but it definitely will be overturned in the future if he does get convicted. And this whole case was relying on a convicted liar and a former porn star. Now, the fat lady isn't quite singing yet, but if this was a fair trial, it would be thrown out immediately. It shouldn't have even been started, to be honest. Now, let me know what you guys think. Drop your comments and thoughts in the comment section. I'll jump in there as I normally do. Now, if you want to help a brother out, help me get to that 1,000 sub club. We've only got 100 to go. Don't forget to hit the like, smash the subscribe, ring the notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next video.